Alrighty, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about an in-depth guide for Kaisa in Season 11. Let's get started. So what we will be covering is why you should play Kaisa, her pros and cons, when to pick Kaisa, runes and summoner spells. We'll be covering her abilities, her builds, her laning, and her mid to late game. Let's get started. So why should you play Kaisa? Pros? The champion looks great. She's always going to be popular. That means she's never going to be low tier, meaning Riot wants to make money. So she'll always be OP, S tier, or at least A tier. She's very fun to playstyle. Her playstyle is adaptable. You can play her as a marksman or an assassin, and her builds is also versatile as well, since you can go AD or AP or on hit or crit depending on the meta, so she'll always be good. She's a very self-sufficient AD carry with her great mobility. She has very good outplay potential with that same abilities, which is her ult and her E once it's evolved as well. She's somewhat mechanical, so there's a learning curve to it, so you won't get bored playing her, and she scales into a really good hyper carry late game. Con, she's not the strongest laner. There's other laners that's going to be stronger than her. There's always going to be laners that outscale her, like Vayne, Tristana, Kog'Maw. She can be bullying in lane versus like Caitlyn or Draven. She's very short range, so she can't really trade very well into most AD carry. She's vulnerable to CC, just like every glass cannon out there. She does a lot of damage, but if you lock her down, she's just dead. It's kind of hard to master because of all her combos and abilities and when to use them, when to ult in, when to do your abilities, what to build, because her build's very situational. You can't just do one build every game and expect to win. She's kind of like a jack of all trades, similar to Ahri, where she can assassinate, she can do AD stuff, but there's always going to be other AD carry that does her job better. Alright, we're going to be moving on to champion selection. We're going to be talking about when and when not to pick Kaisa, her rune setups, and her summoner setup. First off, when to pick Kaisa. When you have a good engaged support, i.e. Eyeless, Nautilus, Thresh, Aurel, maybe Set, Leona, anything that's pretty much like all in. Or catch support like Morgana, Lux maybe. When the enemy has little to no CC is when you want to pick Kaisa into, so it means it's free scaling, they can't stop you in team fight, and you're gonna come basically an absolute monster. Enemy has no lane bullies, i.e. you have Ezreal or Aphelios, if anyone still plays them right now. It's basically a free lane where you can just scale for free. No threats of getting roamed on, meaning there's no talent, no anything that can roam to your lane and just like fuck you up, like 5v2 or 4v2 or 3v2. Easy 2v2 matchups, meaning no Draven. It's basically like this is when you play something else, like it's a Doom 2v2, meaning this is gonna be a sad lane for you. You don't want to go into Draven versus Leona. If they have like a top is Shen, you can just ult Nocturne, then Talent's just gonna be your lane 24/7. This is like basically you're just watching a gray screen for for beginning to end of the game. It's literally just gray screen simulation. Also avoid picking Kaisa if they have 3 or more of these champions. Yasuo counters really hard with Wind Wall. Most of your attacks is projectile based. Like all of your abilities basically projectile based, so you don't want to do this. Vigor's Cage can trap you in there, and you cannot ult out because it counts as a dash and not a blink, so you have to flash out or take cleanse. For Malzahar, you have to pay his Malzahar and Skarner Warwick. Cleanse will not help you in this situation because they do not stop suppression, meaning you have to buy a QSS, which is 1300, and as you know, as an AD carry, it's not ideal to build those items because you want to be building damage and doing damage. Evelyn is a hit or miss for me. To counter her, you just ward her jungle camps, but in low elo, nobody really does that, so she can get really fed and just one-shot you because she can miss. If she has her charm on you, she can miss her Q, press E on you, you still be charmed, and just unleash her full combo on you, and you still be dead regardless. Twisted Fate for the same reason as Shen because of the global, and he can just teleport you down, just fuck you up. Vi, she has a point click knock up and lockdown, so champions like that, they have like 3 of these. Like if they had like a Yasuo top, Vigar support, and then like Vi jungle or something like that, or like any of these jungles, you might want to not pick Kaisa, play something safer, or just dodge the game, ban some of these out. That's basically what you want to do. And runes, you have 2 sets. You have Hailblade, which is highly recommend. You're going to be running this for like 90% of your games. Press the attack if they have like a bunch of tanks, and then as you know, like these are pretty much optional, like Taste of Blood, or sorry, not Taste of Blood, the Ravenous Hunter or the Ultimate Hunter can be switched out. You do want Presence of Mind because Kaisa does run but if you build like Manamune, you can probably get away with Triumph. For your secondary, you can run Alacrity or you can run the Bloodline. It's up to, if you don't need the lifesteal, you can go for the attack speed. Both of them are pretty good stats on Kaisa, so it's up to dealer's choice based on the game. If you do run press the attack, it's more of like an AD centric build. You're going to be attacking most of the time. You won't be getting that attack speed, so overall it's a little bit more consistent, but it's more for like tank shredding in my opinion. So you're gonna be taking this if they have like a lot of tanks. So you also want to take cut down versus like Coop, and that will be your second rune choices. Summoner spells for your first choice. I'd say like 80%, 70, like a majority of percent of games you're gonna be running heal. You're gonna take Cleanse if they have a lot of CC, or if you're up against like Ashe or Varus. Exhaust if they have like a lot of assassins and your support's running Ignite. Take Exhaust. Barrier if your ally has like heal, so you want to do Barrier and they don't really have any like assassins, or if they do, it's very little. Barrier gives a bigger shield and it synergizes well with your shield for your ulti, and it also has a lot of damage mitigation compared to heal. And for your second choice, this is not negotiable. Always take Flash. If you don't take Flash, you're basically inting, and that's reportable. Alrighty, on to Kaisa's abilities. Let's first off start with a passive. There's 2 parts to her passive. The first one is every time you attack somebody with your autos or your W, you get a stack. At 5 stacks, you do a bunch of damage based on their missing health, so it's pretty much like an execute. And if your allies, like your support, does anything that immobilizes your enemy, it adds a stack to it, up to 4. But Kaisa is the only one that can pop the passive, so they can only get it up to 4 stacks, and you have to pop the 5th one to do damage. That's basically the first part of her passive. Second part of her passive is for all of her abilities. You see her Q, her W, and her E has some kind of scaling, which is basically part of her kit is adaptability, meaning once you have 100 bonus attack damage, your Q gets upgraded, meaning it can fire 12 missiles instead of 6, so twice as much the damage potentially. Her Q, or her W, sorry, once you reach 108 ability power, it's gonna do 3 stacks instead of 2. That's 2. Once that's upgrade, it'll do 3, and it'll give you a refund of 70% once if you hit the champion. Her E basically lets you go invisibility once you get 100% attack speed. Then that's pretty much Kaisa's abilities, and this gives her a shield based on her attack and ability power. So some interesting interaction is that your Q has a longer range than your auto attack. So you want to auto attack and then Q. And that's basically your bread and butter for trading is auto attack Q until auto attack. And if you haven't noticed, you can cast your Q while you're running. And your Q splits on how many damage there are in this radius. If there's 4, it'll split 4 times. If there's 5, it'll split 5 times. If there's 3, it'll split 3 times. And if there's 2, it'll split 2 times. And then if it's 1, that targets get hit with all the damage. So I don't know if it's that super obvious, but you want to isolate your Q, meaning you want to get your Q onto one single target to maximize your damage potentially. And you can cast it while you're moving, meaning your Q is what you want to play around with. So you want to auto, Q, auto, and then hit your W potentially really fast when you have Hail Blades. So, sorry, I didn't have my Hail Blades earlier, but right now, you want to auto, Q, auto, into W. And that will be your full combo after level 2. Level 1, this is basically your basic trading. It's Q, is try to auto, isolate Q, and then auto them again. But most of the time it's just auto Q, and then walk away, because she's such short range and lane. Her W locks her out with her animation, and her E also locks her out of her animation. Meaning, if you're gonna cast anything, cast Q before you W, or cast Q while you're using your E, if you want to maximize your damage. Next is her W. Her W is a linear skill shot, and it lands on the first enemy hit. Doesn't have to be champion. It could be it could be like minions or anything. But whoever gets hit gets 2 stacks of her passive, and once it's leveled up, it's 3 stacks. And once you get it evolved, it's 3 stacks plus the cooldown refund. So her Q, you can ult them, and Q you can W, basically. So W, ult. So you can also W this guy and ult to this gun. So you see how this guy didn't have a stack on him, but this guy did. So you can fire this and then do that. And then you can also W Q for a fast one. Like that. Or if you want to hit this guy behind him, but this one's in front of you, you can posture like that, and it's gonna hit this guy, so you can't hit this guy. So what you can do is not that, sorry. This guy have a stacks on him. You can fire your W and flash to animation cancel. So you can do this. Oops. Sorry, I still have my cursor on him. But you want your cursor on that guy, right? So, like that. Oops, that's still not far enough. Like that. Or like that. So it's a really good, it's like really niche, but sometimes it'll help you get the kill. Like if they're running away and their support's body blocking, or like this minion's blocking them, you can do that for that as well. And then Q can also be catch anywhere, so you can Q them and also move, and the Q will also be finished. You can Q them while running away. You can Q them while flashing. Q is very versatile, so play around your Q, basically. And then your E, it's a lock animation, so sometimes you want to E first, and then ult in, so that you get that extra attack speed. if you didn't know. So after you E, you get extra attack speed. Once you have 100% attack speed, it becomes an invisibility. And that's pretty much it for Kai'Sa's passive and also her combos. Alright, folks, let's talk about builds. So for Kai'Sa starting build, you got two options. It's one is you're gonna give up lane because there's no way you can win, meaning you're up against Draven or something that outranges you, like Caitlyn, Morgana, or Draven, Leona. There's just no way. You just want to farm up, survive, and get to the late game. That will be the tier of the goddess and 2 pots. For any other items, for any other lane matchup, meaning you're gonna fight and win. Oh, actually, you can probably build tier into like Ezreal, where it's like free scaling, but those are the only exceptions. Everything else, Doran's Blade, the Omni Vamp, the attack damage, and the health is just too good to pass up. Alright, so moving on. We have 3 builds for you today. Here, let me do that. Here, we have the standard build, the most popular build that's going on right now. 80 crit Kai'Sa. So right here we have Kraken Slayer, Runehounds, and Infinity Edge. Once you get these 3 items, the game is pretty much over because you're just gonna hard stomp. However, this build is extremely expensive. If you look at the gold, this is like over 10k, and as an 80 carry in season 11, it's very rare that you're gonna reach this game before the 20-minute mark, which is when games normally end around 20 to 30 minutes because people either FF or the game is just over because there's too many early game focused champions that's going on right now. However, if you do make it up to the late game and you're using this build, the crit items can be pretty well. You can build this into more reminders your situation though because of all the healing that's in the game right now. You can go Mercurial to counter all the CC that they're having you. The Navari Quick Blaze is very underrated for 100 item crit because it gives you ability haze and it gives you your attack on cooldown, which can also means permanent self. And then if they don't have anything, you can do Bloodthirster for some lifesteal because this build does not have any innate lifesteal, which is why you go for the Omni Vamp for your runes and mastery, and you're also taking I think the Bloodline, not the attack speed one, but the one that gives you lifesteal. This one can also be really underrated. Oops. And this one is synergized as well, where a passive. And then this one, if they just have a bunch of tanks, and this if you just need some dueling potential. Moving on to the second build, this is more of a scaling one. This will give you 3 of your evolves, compared to these ones, which only gives you 2, by the way. However, this is more of an on-hit build, meaning you can build these 2 items, which is really good for everyday situational. You can do this for tank busting, or you can go into an AP build for your last 2 items. But however, this one will give you perfectly 100% attack speed and give you 100% ability power and over 100% attack speed. This one, however, doesn't really add up to. This is like 98 plus the Doran's Blade. But if you add this, you can probably get your spike after these 2 items, because if you didn't know, you don't really need 100%, like 100 attack and 100%, because as you level up, Kai'Sa gets attack damage for her level growth, and also attack speed for her level growth. The only thing she doesn't get is AP per level. Which brings me to my last build. This is the build that I've been using for my past few games, and I've just been stomping because it's just that OP. Let me explain. This one, super expensive. This one, less expensive. And you get 3 of your evolves. This one, super expensive, only 2 evolves. However, it does a lot of damage late game, but whatever. This one is probably the cheapest one, and before you say, oh, it doesn't add up to 100% attack damage. You're right. It's only 80 something. Plus your Dorn's Blade, which is about 80 something, barely 90. However, by the time you're level 9, which is around the same time you're going to get 2 to 3 of these items, maybe 2, you'll be level 9, and that will make up for your 100% attack difference. So you only need this much. These 3 items, which is fairly cheap compared to all of these items. Maybe not except this one, but for all of this will give you three of your evolves, and you're gonna spike a lot harder. You're gonna become a champion a lot harder. You're gonna stomp them. Plus the collector eclipse combo, you already know how OP it is during this season. That's why MF, Jin, everyone who's using any kind of lethality into eclipse is doing so well right now. This will help you snowball so hard that it doesn't matter that this build is early game focused. You're gonna get all of like 5 items, 6 items way before everyone gets out their 3 items. So you're gonna be doing a lot of damage through these items and getting super fed and finishing the game before it gets to that mark where everybody outscales you. So that's why this build is so good. And the other reason why this build is also good is if you look at Eclipse passive, it has everything that Kai'Sa synergizes well with. Even though the Eclipse has been nerfed, quote unquote, it's still very good. So I do not want you to shy away from this. This is actually really good, meaning it gives you sustain in lane, gives you attack damage. Lethality is really good for early game, so it helps you snowball. The Omni Vent will help you heal, meaning if you take any bad trades in lane, you can just heal up the damage because it builds out of a Vampiric Scepter as well. So if you take a bad trade, meaning if you're up against Draven or any poke lane that pokes you, try to poke you out lane, you can also sustain them and beat them in lane. And into tanks, because if you can read this, it says hitting a champion with 2 separate attacks or ability within 1.5 seconds, which is really easy on Kai'Sa because you can just press Q into your autos, and that's 2 separate abilities. It deals an additional 6% max health physical damage, meaning it can shred tanks because this is made for assassin for dueling tanks. And then it also gives you move speed, which helps you kite them. And then it also gives you a shield to mitigate some of the bursts that assassins would do for you. So like for dueling, this is perfect for Kai'Sa for when she needs to fight assassin or tank or anybody in lane. So this is like the perfect item for, and it's so gold efficient. It's like 200 gold cheaper than your Kraken Mythic for your other ones. For your 80 Mythic, it's always going to be 3400. So this one, super efficient. You just got to pick up a pickaxe and do all of this. This 3 items is going to be way cheaper than these 3 items, or these 3 items combined. So you're going to spike a lot harder, and this is going to win you more games. If you don't believe me, I can show you a gameplay where I just pop off, and that's pretty much it for the build. Alright, so now let's talk about 2v2 matchups and laning. As you can see, we are Kai'Sa and Morgana versus Vayne and Lux. And you also have to pay attention to your jungle matchup, Olaf and Amumu. Meaning Amumu wants to farm while Olaf wants to gank. So when you're trading in lane, just make sure that Olaf isn't ganking you. So our objective in the game is hit level 2 and run them down. Because this is a catch comp and this is also a catch comp. Morgana is slightly better than Lux. However, Vayne is slightly better than Kai'Sa when it comes to scaling. But burst damage wise, I think we have the edge. So let's see how this lane plays out. So first, we're just doing some trading here. The objective is still trying to rush for level 2. So once we hit level 2, they also hit level 2. But if Morgana was helping me, I think we would hit level 2 first, and we would have won that. Amu comes in for a gank, and we get easy kill on Vayne. That's pretty much it. Is basically control the wave, run them down level 2. It was lucky that Amu was here, but if she wasn't, we just wait on Morgana's biting, and the result would have been pretty much the same. Their game plan is really similar to ours as well. So that's the 2v2 matchup, and that's how you play that lane. Alright, let's talk about another 2v2 matchup where we're playing against the lane bully, which is Lucian. And what they want to do is trade into her face until Lucian can all in. We have to play, we can play trade until it's level 6. And don't for that's bugged, I think. However, the goal is to get level 2. So now we're just pushing. And then after this minion, I'm just running at him because he still has this minion. And then we just run him down right here. If he doesn't heal there, he dies. So then we get his heal for free just from our level 2, even though he's a lane bully. That's how you should want to play the game for basically any AD carry. Is try to rush level 2. If you can't, just make sure you back up so you don't burn summoners for nothing. This later leads into a kill. This is a trade kill because I played poorly, but regardless, took some damage here. And be getting poked out. But regardless, because he doesn't have heal and I do, right here, because I got silence, I use heal, and we managed to trade 1 for 1, and both the supports got the kill, which later on leads to more kill. Let's see, right here, this is when we set up a gank on Lucian. As you can see, he clears the wave, tries to back. Echo's coming for a lane gank, and we bait them into a 2v2, or what they thought is a 2v2, and we just get a free kill on Lucian because the lane was pushed to the middle and he got greedy. And then this one is just a straight up 2v2 where we were pretty even. Sure, just land a full combo on him, dash over to let Yumi get all the stun, layer out or CC, Yumi ignited, I flash for the kill, and it's an easy clap. And they use their exhaust, heal, and everything on us. And that's how you want to play the 2v2 with the trade pattern with your Q and W to get your 5-stack passive off on Lucian, get him the kill. That's how you want to play the lane. Alright, now let's talk about warding. On red side, you want to ward this one, and this one, just in case they want to invade your jungle. Always keep an eye on this, and sometimes dragon. On the blue side is this, here. It's pretty much the same thing. You want to keep an eye on their jungler path, right here for their jungler's path, right here for our lane gank, or right here. Normally I put my wards right here because it covers this side and this side. But other than that, that's pretty much the basic warding spot for bot lane. And now we move on to the mid lane, or mid game, sorry. As you can see, it is 13 minutes, which is around that time, a little bit earlier or later, depending on what kind of game you're playing. And as you can see, I just finished shoving out this wave. We are rotating to mid because they're overextended for this tower. we're gonna collapse on them because we have numbers advantage. See, 1, 2, 3, and these guys are gonna be pushing these waves, so they're not gonna be here. So it's gonna be a 2v3 at best for them. So let's see how this plays out. They get the turret. They still, I think Olaf overstays. Or sorry, Urgot overstays. Olaf is already moving. My team is already moving to collapse. We are collapsing on them. And we are here. Morgana lands a stun. Gives me my passive to stack. And I hit him twice with my passive. And I get like a shutdown. And he died before dragon spawns, meaning we're gonna get this one for free regardless of what Olaf is doing topside. So even though he might get a turret, he's losing a dragon for it. And right here, the right play is to give up this dragon, but because she doesn't do that, she gets collapsed on and she dies. And they're still fighting. They're trying to chase my Amumu. I see that. So I'm coming. I have heal for him. So he's not going to die. So I heal him, get the move speed, and we get out of there. Swain overcommits for this chase. He misses binding. Amumu turns around, and we get an easy kill onto the Swain. That's basically what happens in the mid game. You just catch somebody out, take an objective, and you win numbers advantage. Right here, we're pushing bot. Everybody's down here. We try to get a fight, but because I have level advantage, and we get a really good 3-man ulti, we just kill Lux and try to get out of there, but they try to force on us. I think I die here. Oh, that's unfortunate. I should have went for their backline. I don't think I had ult for this one, but regardless, we picked up a turret, which is good. So now, as you can see, they're just over chasing. So as you can see, you want to hover on the side of the objective. So this Drake is spawning, you want to be bot side or mid. If something's spawning on the top side, you want to be top or mid. That's an 80 carry. Right now we just get a bunch of skirmish, just picking up 2 people. Right here we win this fight because it's 4v3, 4v2 now. And Urgot has to concede. And we just get this dragon for free after the fight. It's a 1-for-4 trade plus dragon. So they take a lot of these bad fights and they end up losing the game afterwards, basically. So right here, we're going top side because the objective is Baron. We win a fight here, we just take Baron for free. So right now they're trying to fight. They don't have their 80 carry with them. We're all coming here. This is a 3v3 because they kill all off at the beginning. And now it's gonna be even worse for them because the Mumu's coming as well. But I don't think we need them. We're gonna land a really good binding and I get a triple out of that, and then we just go do Baron off of that. Easy. And then the next objective is going to be spawning, is probably Drake. So you see me hovering mid, or sorry, oh wait, why am I, this is actually a bad one, but we have Baron, so I see that my team is fighting, so I push and I rotate down, get the fight. Urgot's late. It's easy. You try to get a kill onto my Mumu, and I get a quadra out of that. and we win somehow 4v5 because we didn't even have, because the spell is pretty broken, and we also picked them off and people came late, so I got there before Ola or Urgot, which is the 4v4, and then we won the 4v4, and then when he came down it was still a 4v4, so we won the game out of that. We won the fight out of that. So now I think I'm resetting for Dragon spawn. I think I was top side because Dragon wasn't anywhere near to respawning, so I was trying to push this turret down with my Baron buff. And we get the Dragon, easy, pick up some people, and I think we overstayed for this one. And I think I didn't see Olaf here, and he had a lot of healing, so we just lost that fight. It was bad, but mistakes happen. Right here, I get my executioners, everything's good. I'm hovering top side because Baron's about to spawn. And we try to look for a fight here. Right here, I got ignited. Should have used my ulti, but that's all good. I think my team cleans up here. It's a 3v2 at best for them because I already got spot side. So nothing really happens here. So fast forward. Again, we're hovering tops and mid, just in case a fight breaks out. And if a fight breaks out, we just take something. From here, their jungler gets caught out, which is pretty bad for them. I think Lux landed a combo on them, but if she wasn't behind, she could have killed me, but she was behind, so. And then I hit her with this, and then go and return the kill on her. And now the jungler is right here, flash over the wall, and get the kill on them. Hit him with the Q. And he's pretty much dead here. And since the objective's gonna spawn, his death means an objective for us. So it doesn't matter, it could be Dragon, it could be Baron, it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna push this turret and then rotate. I think they decided to do Dragon because it was the safer option, so we're gonna rotate down to Dragon. Right here, a little bit of overstay, but I think we all get out. And that's Ocean Soul because they send a bunch of people for us. And I think somebody gets caught over here, and he dies. And then moving on to the last team fight. Right here, we're pushing down top lane because every lane is pushed, so you want to just push out all their outers when you're ahead. Right here, Olaf comes in really heavy. I throw something over there, we take care of Olaf, and I just ult their backline and kill everybody. And right here, they just FF. And that's how you should play team fight as Kai'Sa. Kill what's in front of you, and then ult into the enemy team when it's low, and you win the game. And that's basically how you play Kai'Sa in a nutshell, for team fights at least. Basically stay on the side of the objective, right front to back unless there's an opportunity, and then ult in the back. And then just to show you the build, I was the highest damage in the game in this build, and it was only 16. I was making so much money, it didn't really matter because of these 3 core items. It was just helping me gain kills left and right because there's just so much damage early game. I'm like at like 5 items. Vayne was like at like 1, 2, 3, 3.5. Like, yeah, everybody's not even like close to full build. I'm like right here, I'm almost like full build. There's like half a item behind full build. Mostly the most fed members of everybody else. I'm like 3,000 gold, or yeah, 3,000 gold ahead of like the next person that's like rich. And like my farm wasn't even that good. Like Kalista was out farming me, And their Vayne was out farming me too. So like this build, you're just farming champions at that point.